Warchant.com has been the definitive home of all things FSU sports for over 20 years and is now part of On3, the next generation network. Warchant.com has the most experienced, tenured, and largest staff on the Florida State sports beat and now features innovative resources, including an NIL database that projects player value and a truly aggregated composite recruiting ranking system that will set the bar in the industry. You can have access to all of this in addition to Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, Seminole Headlines, complete pre, in-game, and post-game coverage, plus year-round recruiting coverage for only $1 a year. Yeah, that's right, $1, 365 days. Get some. Here's how to get started. Head over to warchant.com or on3.com. From the team's drop-down menu at the top of the screen or the upper left corner if you're on mobile, select Teams, scroll down to Florida State, and then select Warchant. There, you'll see the limited offer for 1 year for $1. Tap or click, choose Florida State from the drop-down, annual or monthly, enter your billing info, and hit subscribe. That's it. $1 for a year of Warchant.com, the ultimate deal for the ultimate fan from the ultimate Seminoles sports source, Warchant.com. Good morning, everybody. I'm Aslan Hajavandi, Director of Digital Media for Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. I attended Florida State University. I lived and died with this football team, and in the year 2002, I was doing a lot of dying. Our quarterback situation was quite muddled, and I was living and breathing and needing any information on what was going on with the quarterback battle. I worked at a FedEx location off Pensacola Street. Our clerk indoors would run out to the loading dock every 20 minutes and give us updates. And I'm like, how are you finding out about all this stuff? And he said, Warchant.com. Maybe you found out about it in 2005 when Bobby Bowden plucked a talented running back out of Pahokee High School from the Miami Hurricanes on signing day that led to one of the most epic threads on message board history. Maybe you found out about us the year after that when a much maligned offensive coordinator was replaced. Maybe you found out 3 years after that when his father, the legendary Bobby Bowden, made way for Jimbo Fisher. Maybe you joined when the national title started coming back and we won a third Heisman with Jameis Winston. Or maybe when we figured out where was Jimbo going to go and who's going to replace him, and then now Mike Norvell taking things over. No matter when you found out about Warchant.com, this man right here was behind the scenes leading the way for everything that we do on this site, and that is Gene Williams. It was FSUKnoles.com at one point. It's become Warchant.com for the last 20 years, and it's been leading the way ever since, man. And this is a pretty cool night and morning for you, man.
Yeah, it really is. That's a great, that's a great story. So many people have told me different stories, how they ran into, Warchant.com, whether it's in the library at school. Some people said they saw a buddy on there and they got on there and found it and all this other stuff. So it's really neat. I started this out myself, and a lot of great volunteers over the years have chipped in. And then I actually got to hire somebody and another person. And now, we have this incredible staff that I think one of you guys was, I think it was Tom, was running down all the numbers. You have over 100 years combined experience. It's incredible right now. And then to have the big announcement today that we are going to be joining On3, which is just really exciting. And we're going to talk about that a lot today. If you saw the intro video, you learned a little bit about it. But man, when I had the opportunity, when I talked to him, we're going to bring him on in a minute, the CEO and founder of On3, Shannon Terry, who I've known for 20 years, because he was a co-founder of Rivals back when I joined them, and back during the historic rise during the 2000s of Warchant and really the team website like Warchant.com we have today. And then he went on to have 247. And I met with him. And first, when I was going to meet with him about On3, and this was almost a year and a half ago, I really didn't think we're not going anywhere. But man, it took about 20 minutes of him showing me all the stuff that was going on at On3 behind the scenes, under the hood. Incredible. Aslan, you just scratched the surface with that NIL database, the recruiting database, all the other stuff that's in there. It is so cutting edge, and they've just scratched the surface. There's so many things we're going to see down the road. I like to tell you some of it, but I get in trouble because the head guy's here tonight. So we're going to bring him on here shortly.
Absolutely. We'll let him lay out his vision and how he's executing and how it really is the next generation network. And it's going to supercharge the coverage that we do on Warchant.com and Warchant TV as well. Real quickly, though, I want to show you folks, theoretically here, Al Gore's internet is not perfect, but when you type in Warchant.com now, you should be seeing the newly redesigned website that's now part of the On3 network. But if you don't, you can always go to on3.com, and I will go ahead and pull up the screen here to show you just kind of how easy it is to get started. This is for all Florida State fans, or maybe even you folks that don't like Florida State, but you want to keep tabs because you want to keep your enemies closer. You just got to go to on3.com. You go to on3.com. You go up top where it says teams. You pull down the menu. You hit teams again. If you're on mobile, it'll be in the top left corner. Just scroll on down. It's in alphabetical order. You'll see Florida State. And look at that. It already says Warchant.
Oh, they got it.
Perfect. Click on that. Tap on that. You'll see warchant.com, the logo, the name. It's all there. Everybody's coming with Gene and I. I am coming with, right, Gene? I'm coming with, right? I want to come along.
Yeah, we'll see how you do tonight. It's TBA.
Irish O'Fell, Corey Clark, Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang, Michael Langston, Austin Cox, myself, Gene Williams. We'll be all over here. And on the front, you'll see it's going to be for a week. The launch special, it's $1 for one whole year, 365 days, not till the end of the year. For an entire year, it's only $1. Click or tap on that. You go ahead and make sure you got Florida State selected in the drop-down menu here. Hit annual. Again, $1 for a year. After that, $99.99. And you go ahead and put your account information here. Put your screen name. Hopefully, it'll be able. Hasn't been taken yet over on this side of things. Put in your billing info. Sign up, and you're ready to go. You're going to be totally connected to the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source, which is warchant.com, and it's going to be supercharged because of this man right here. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Irish O'Fell and Gene Williams letting me intern for them back in 2005 or so, I think it was. But I don't know if any of us would be here if it was not for the sort of innovative mind, the pioneer that is Shannon Terry, the founder and CEO of On3 Sports. And I need to get some swag, boss. I like that. Looking sharp, man. Thanks for joining us here in the middle of the morning, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. This is a special day for me. I mean, in so many ways.
And Shannon, I don't think people really realize. I mean, you may blush a little bit. I mean, there's nobody in the business that's like you. I mean, everything you've touched in this business is blown up, and you don't rest. I mean, it's funny. You're telling me with On3, this is not any of these old networks you've worked with before. This is a totally new experience for the fan, for the sports fan. And I'm like, okay, this is talking. You started walking me through this stuff, and it just blew me away. You maybe share a little bit of the vision of On3. I mean, I want to tell people why we made the move, but I also want to tell you kind of what people can expect at On3 here now and really over the next year or so.
You know, I mean, first of all, I mean, Gene, just want to say it's an honor and a privilege to have Warchant, and for you to, you know, this is a family business for you and something you put your heart and soul in, and for you to give us, you know, your trust and move over to us means a lot to me. And, you know, we take that responsibility very serious. And so, you know, before I kind of talk about On3, let me say this. You know, I've been doing this for 27 years and I've seen it all. And this man right here, you know, if you had to tell me a better publisher, someone who runs a better ship, I don't know that I can come up with a name. And so Warchant is a phenomenal story. It is, you know, Florida State fans are very lucky to have, you know, this brand and Gene behind it. And it's been an icon for decades, you know, and so I've seen this, and, you know, there's 5 or 6 sites that just, you know, decade after decade kind of get it done. Warchant's one of those. And for me, you know, we opened this thing up. We signed KSR, was our very first site. We actually bought it. It's the largest fan site on the internet. I've never seen anything like it. We followed up with the Wolverine and Blue and Gold, and Warchant. I mean, we have some behemoths here. So, but none of those sites, you know, Warchant is as good, if not better, than anything in this industry. And so we're honored for that. And sites like that's what's going to make On3 thrive. But we can go into all the kind of juicy stuff whenever you want to talk about it.
Yeah, and I know there's a couple big ones still right around the corner, so stay tuned. We can't let the cat out of the bag, but there are some big ones coming, Shannon, exciting. And a lot of the guys, it's interesting. We go back to our old days together, the old rivals. I mean, some of these guys who I came up with, some of my best friends who are just also behemoths in this industry. And when I started comparing notes, when we talked to you and went through this, I mean, it was just unanimous. It was a no-brainer that we wanted to be here. And then on top of that, you start hiring people like Chad Simmons, who is the absolute best in the business when it comes to recruiting. And our fans who have been on our message board back when Chad was a regular interacting with our fans know what he can do, what he brings to the table. And a guy like Ivan Mizell, I mean, he's an icon in college sports. To have him heading up that division. I mean, the people that you've brought on, JD Piquel, the YouTube. I mean, he's blowing. What have you guys got? Over 8,000 subscribers in a month on the YouTube channel. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's good. Here's the way I like to describe On3. I've been doing this I started in 1996, and this is this is kind of the third iteration. And I'd like to say that our group has been learning as we go through, and we've been adapting with the internet. The first version, Rivals, I think we did all we could do, with the business model we had, where the internet was, digital media was at that time. We saw a new wave coming with 24/7. It was more of a search social, aggregation play, and I'm really proud of what we did there. And now On3 is a different time, and it's kind of the best of what I think we've done in the past, and it's hopefully the right look of what we think is going to happen over the next decade or so. And so, I can tell you a little bit about our business model on here. I'll go into any details that you guys want, but I think we're really set up to make an extraordinary run over the next 10 years.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to ask you about before we let you go here, Shannon. I guess a couple of things that blew me away is the database, which you guys have been able to create there. And also getting the NIL, some of the predictive algorithm things you have going, it's next level stuff. And you can spend hours just playing with this stuff. It's so neat.
Yeah, so I created the crystal ball and the composite at 24/7. I've been building these databases for a long time. That's kind of my guilty pleasure or passion. And when we built On3, we really kind of had five areas that we wanted to focus on. We wanted to go, build or aggregate, buy, whatever, the best fan sites in the business, because fan sites that's the blood, the heart and soul of college sports. And and I recognize that because I've been doing this for 30 years. I think some of the larger media companies struggle with understanding that. And it's an endemic audience, it's a passionate audience, and that's number one. We knew that we wanted to be great in recruiting, we wanted to be great in transfer portal, we knew we wanted to set the stage in NIL, and we wanted to be great in coaching transactions. And then there were three kind of fundamental core areas that we had to own internally, operationally, and that's social, video productions, and database. And so, we have 25 engineers. I think we have around 400 different wireframes or different database products that we've been building. Tomorrow actually marks our 1-year anniversary. And so if you look at the stuff that we built just in 364 days, it's rather, remarkable. Dave Lester, Adam Dillon, so many people work so hard on this thing, but we haven't even started. And so, if you think about LinkedIn meets IMDb meets Wikipedia, that's what we're building for sports. And so just getting started on it. It's going to be a great user experience for the fans. And, I think we're set up to give them a great product. And at 53 years old, and I've done this for 30 years, for me, it's really important to take those almost 3 decades of experience, my love for sports and college sports, and do this one right. We've done them close to right in the past. This is our quality play. And there's a lot of things that I think we learned along the way, and a lot of things we can do better.
And thank you for working with me to come up with that $1 special for all the FSU fans out there, because I just love the way, because we want it to introduce them to all the great things Warchant has to offer and On3, and what a great way for them to come in for $1 and follow Florida State and our great staff and everything at On3.
It's going to be a great partnership. I mean, we've worked together for probably a decade. We've known each other for way more. I have the utmost respect. I know the kind of quality product that you get, and we want every FSU fan on the internet to come take advantage of this offer, because that's we're used to be what we got in this in late 90s. It was just about the .com, no pun intended. Now it's everything. It's podcasts, it's shows. I mean, look at what your staff is doing tonight. I mean, I'm sitting here going, look how far we've come, and then think of where we'll be in 10 years. So, Lord willing, we're still doing this. It's going to be something special to see.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Look forward to working with you for the next decade, man. Hopefully we last that long. And get Aslan some swag. Can you get Aslan some swag? I think he needs it.
I think we've got truckloads coming here in the next 30 days. That's what Andy tells me.
Awesome. Can't wait. Thanks, Shannon. Look forward to it.
Yeah. See you guys. Y'all have a good night. Let's get back to work.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
Good night. Small world, this whole network of college websites is, Gene. I mean, who'd have thunk this would kind of come full circle and you'd be back working with Shannon Terry and everything he's kind of has the Midas touch. So I feel real good about this. And we've already seen people here talk about how excited they are for us to join On3 because in this sort of quick amount of time, they've already been able to establish themselves as an industry leader. Our guy, Jarek Scott, here earlier said that he just joined. So everybody, again, it's $1. Anybody watching this right now can head on over to warchant.com, which sometimes it's going to the right site and sometimes it's not. But if it doesn't, go to
eventually it will.
Yeah. Again, go to on3.com. Top of the screen says teams. Tap on teams. Tap on teams again. Scroll down, find Florida State. Tap on Florida State. You'll go right to the website. And you'll see the deal right on your screen. $1 for an entire year, not just the remainder of this calendar year. 365 days. So the screen, the link is on the screen, but it's also in the description below. You can click on it too. So.
And Aslan, I might say so because I saw a lot of questions before when we were like, legally there really wasn't anything we could say going into this, and I've seen some questions in the chat, and there were a lot of questions before. Really, nothing has changed. I mean, it's just like we move from one house to the other, but the entire staff, every single member, warchant.com is along with us. Someone asked about Michael Langston. Michael Langston's still here. He's going to come on in a little bit and talk about this. Ira, Corey, yourself, Aslan. Nothing changes with Wake Up Warchant. Nothing changes with Jeff Cameron's show. We're going to have, a matter of fact, we're going to introduce in a little bit, we're going to tell you about a new show we're adding on, where somebody is going to be, but most FSU fans know who they are. I'm going to tease it a little bit here. We're going to show you in a little bit, and it's going to be a new offering we're going to have this football season. So we're not only bringing everybody back, we're adding on to our staff here, so to speak. And nothing changes. The app, if you're currently subscribed to the Warchant app, those links should be updated and will go to all the new tribal council. Everything else is going to be on there. The message boards are the same. There really isn't. The podcasts are all the same. So really, it should be a pretty seamless transition. Now, they're going to be, just like when you move into a house, there's going to be a few rough edges for a few days. So give us a little time to settle in. But we're going to do everything we can to take care of you. You can email me. You can email support. On3 support is on call for you guys. So we're going to do what we can to make this a seamless transition, again, for only $1.
Yeah. All right. Well, thankfully, as Gene said, everybody's coming with us. And if this guy didn't come with us, who knows where we would all end up.
Oh, boy, all hell would break loose.
We could all breathe a little bit easier now. There's Ira Schofel, the managing editor of warchant.com, joining us. Ira, you deserve some sleep. You should be sleeping, but here you are doing what you do, just grinding away, man. Thanks for being here, big guy.
I'm sure Mike Norvell's up at midnight too. So
he's on the stream.
Exactly. So we got to put in the long hours too. And somebody asked in the chat, Gene, about the app and whether or not the app is still going to work. So if you want to mention that.
100%. We've got to update it. So give it a little bit of time, hopefully by tomorrow. So if you click on the first thing is a news feed, it'll go to the new news feed. If you click on the tribal council, it's going to go to the new tribal council. So it should be very easy for you to make the transition without doing anything. Now, the first time you go to the app, you're going to have to log in. There'll be some changes there maybe to get the access to the site. So you pay that $1, you'll get that. But that's about it. But again, we'll be there to help you. Support at warchant.com. I'm Gene at warchant.com, and support at on3.com. If you have a problem, we're going to get back to you as soon as possible and get you set up.
Ira, what's got you most excited about this, man? We've got a lot of bells and whistles at our disposal now, man. It seems like so much data and analytics, which I'm sure Tom's going to be able to totally dive into and really kind of mold and let people digest and just know how important all this stuff is, whether it's the NIL transfer portal stuff. But what's got you most excited about this big jump for Gene and company?
Well, first, I also want to say, if you have real big complaints, email Corey at warchant.com, and he will take care of you. Man, everything. I mean, I'm just super excited about it. And as Gene said, Shannon Terry is a legend in this business, and what he's done is really unprecedented. And so when, even before we knew we would be jumping on board, just knowing that he was, giving another go at this, and just exciting in the industry. There's a buzz in the industry. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I mean, the great thing about Warchant, and Gene's here, so I'm going to kiss his butt, but I would say it if he wasn't here. But the great thing about Warchant and the great thing about Gene is, Aslan, you saw it when you were a student, and it was Gene, and it was like a couple other people helping out, and as it grew and as more revenue came in, as the site became more profitable, he reinvested in it. And when I left the Democrat to come back to come to Warchant as the managing editor, I had people in the newspaper business going like, "What are you doing?" And because now everybody's doing it. But at the time, that was kind of, for a sports editor of a daily newspaper in a capital city to go run a team site, that was just it was not that normal. And so, you think about the way he invested then, and then bringing in, you and Corey and I mean, if people read the column that's up on the site right now, it's amazing, and then go to get Jeff and Tom last year, and bring in Austin and Michael. And I mean, it's just, it's really amazing. And then you add it with the technology that On3 is providing. It's just awesome. Plus, I was listening to Gene and Shannon talk. I mean, I'm super excited about that recruiting staff. I mean, Chad Simmons is a beast, and they've got a bunch of beasts in that recruiting staff. So it's just going to be a lot of fun.
And Ira, you left out, I tried to hire you about a year or two before. You wouldn't take it. So it took the second time. I was persistent, but you finally caved.
I think it was the third time, actually.
The third time was the charm. Yeah, probably.
Guys, I mean, you're kind of new to this, but this is what happens when people do nice things.
Oh, Flabby. There it is.
$50. It's 12:22 a.m. on the East Coast. Flabby Gilmore, shout out. Says he loves Warchant, best in the business. Go Noles. Flabby, thank you, man. Real recognizing real, man. And there you go. You can see the website right there. The logo, the font, nothing's changed. That special is available for everybody. Just go ahead and tap the 1 year for $1. Piece of cake. Easy as pie. Eric Gravitt also here, too. He's going to get a little love. How about a little
dollar bills, y'all?
Yeah, singular dollar if you just want to sign up for the website. Had to break out of the midnight shift from DeLuna. Oh, nice, but didn't want to miss it. Exciting future ahead of us. Absolutely. I'm stoked. This is great. Yeah, I think well said, Ira, about the recruiting sort of guys that can help out with what Austin and Michael have been able to do here for us recently. So we're on top of all of it now with the On3. So this is fantastic. Let's see what else we got here as we'll have everybody joining us throughout the night. We'll have Corey. I think Corey's we didn't have him present and accounted for. He's fine. Tom, Jeff, Austin, Michael. He mentioned Michael last. I love him. Yeah, but
what? Joel! Oh my goodness!
Oh, come on!
Wow!
I'm trying to wind down. I gotta go to bed at some point. Oh!
Wow,
what?
Joel!
What? Okay, all right. Joel, Bubby, come on, man. What are we doing with this? Ain't no party like a Warchant party. Yeah, all right. Midnight Madness off to a strong start. Off to a very strong start.
Can we distribute that and sign up 500 people?
Really? We should.
Yeah, somehow figure out how to do that. 500 new members.
All right. Well, that's
Unreal.
Almost $1 for every year of experience that we have on this staff now, with over 100 years of combined experience with Gene, Ira, Corey, Tom, Jeff, Michael, Austin, myself to a certain degree here. So we're going to have you totally covered, supercharged by the power that is On3 Sports, the next generation network. Let's go ahead and kind of talk about some new things now. Warchant staying the same, if you will. The name is staying the same, but we got all this great sort of backing behind us now. Gene, and when you brought Tom along, you had the post-game show before Tom joined full-time. He and Jeff knock it out the park with the pregame show. They're, doing a fantastic job with that. The post-game show with you and Tom is really taken off. But then during the game, Gene, some people are like, during the game, what should I do as a Florida State fan? And you and Tom are like, what should we do? And you guys have a bit of a cool thing now that, we're going to have you covered, folks. I mean, from the tailgate to sundown on a game day. So what do we got going on in game for our fans on Warchant TV?
Yeah, I was inspired sitting there some of the games watching with my friends, and you'd see again, hate to pile on the ACC network, but I mean, it is what it is. And it just, some of the games on there, just the commentary wasn't great. A lot of people are like, I really am not enjoying what they're saying, and then so what we did, we said, what we could do, what they did on Monday Night Football, the Manning cast. It's very interesting to have a perspective on the game from somebody else, especially somebody who knows the game. So the thing is, we don't necessarily know the game as well. Now, Tom is a pretty good expert on a lot of this stuff, definitely more than I am. But so we did a little bit of a pilot for the spring game, which is a little awkward because half the spring game was them doing interviews on the sideline. But it proved the point a lot of people were interested, whether they're on their tablet, their phone, or whatever, they were doing that and watching the game on the other screen. So we said, ding, 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 who do we know who is an expert at this game, can really break things down for the average fan? And let's bring him on now, because he's going to be joining us this fall for in-game watch-along parties. And let's bring him. Let's introduce him here. There he is.
My man,
What's
Mr.
up?
Nick Robinson joining us.
14 original.
Yes. And Dominic, you are going to be joining us this season for games, and you're going to become our – do we have the official title? Can we throw that up for his what we got there, Tom? Can we throw that up there? His logo. There he is. What do you think, Dominic? Does that work for you?
Look at that. Look at that guy.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that smile.
That smile. Gotta love it. Hey, man,
So
shout
Dominic,
out to Joel Davis. How about Joel
How about
Davis,
that?
man? Holy cow.
he's
Who
the
does
man.
that at midnight? That must be a true Nole right there. Love
He
it.
is.
You got it. You got it.
Love
So
it, man.
Dominic, tell us a little bit about, so I mentioned that what we're going to do during every single Florida State game this year, we're going to have a watch along event where we're not doing play-by-play or anything like that, but what we're going to do is give the fans some feedback and some analysis of what is happening during the game, why certain plays were called, why they're doing certain things. And you have obviously a lot of experience with this, coaching and everything else you do. So tell us a little bit about what the fans can expect this year with you, and it's going to be you and Tom Lang and Aslan. I may jump in there occasionally as well to help the fans this season.
You know, honestly, as we've all experienced, the traditional broadcast a lot of times leaves a lot of meat on the bones in terms of what's going on and really the why. You know, why are we winning or why are we losing? You know, why are we struggling to move the ball? Why are we struggling to stop them? You know, so my hope is, you know, I'm watching these games anyway, and I'm on the edge of my seat, at the edge of my couch, just like the rest of you guys. I'm, diehard Nole fan, have been one ever since I was a kid. But now as a coach and a guy who's done a lot of analysis and things like that, it gives me a chance to have those conversations with you guys. The conversations that I'm having with the TV already, with my frustrations, I'm right there. I'm frustrated just as much as you guys, and my excitement about the things that are going. So, really, I just want to, give some commentary on the why. Why are we succeeding? Why are we not succeeding? What are we doing that we can build on for the future? Things like that.
And hey, Ira, I know when we were doing some recruiting profiles, you and Dominic kind of teamed up to give our fans and our subscribers and our viewers and our of Warchant TV a little bit of an insight into these guys' games because he was able to look at the tape. I mean, what kind of struck you about Dominic's ability to look at film that made you feel this would be kind of a good fit for us?
Yeah, and Gene and I had the privilege of covering D-Rob when he was here at Florida State. And so we got to know him then. He was always one of the best interviews, great guy to deal with, and we've kept in touch through the years. But yeah, when we did those videos before signing day, I was really impressed, and I told D-Rob this after we did them. Man, whether you do stuff with the Warchant or you go do it somewhere else, you need to be kind of in this business if you want to, because it's rare to find somebody who really knows football, who has like the credentials that he has, having played it at a super high level at Florida State, both sides of the ball, played receiver and defensive back, and then also can communicate it like a normal person. And also has a good sense of humor and a good personality. To me, that's like, you just don't find that. You might find people who are like football nerds, but can't communicate it. Or you might find somebody who gets it, but they don't have the accolades personally. But D-Rob, to me, is a total package. Dominic he coaches, he does personal training, he does so many different things. If he focused on this and broadcasting, there's no way we would be able to get him, because I think he'd be doing it for one of the networks. But I'm glad we got him for the season, because I can't think of anybody that would be better.
That's right.
Thank
Dominic,
you, man. Those are kind words. I appreciate that.
Yeah, what Ira said to thing too, what struck me about those videos and stuff, how you were able to talk about it. There's some complicated concepts when it comes to football a lot of time, but you're able to explain that. And that's a talent to do that, because you talk to some coaches And they can talk the talk, but you're like, what are you talking about? But I mean, the average fan to be able to understand, why did they run a sweep on that play? They got blown up. That was a stupid play call, but you can go ahead and explain why they did that, what the setup was, who missed the block, and give a real explanation for what happened on plays. Because I think a lot of times, and I fall into that trap too, I follow the ball and I miss why a play worked or why it didn't work a lot of times. And I think having that insight from you is really going to be beneficial to the average fan. Watching it, like you said, a lot leaves to be desired. When you're watching ESPN or ACC Network, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to explain why that play worked or didn't work. And that's why I think that's a huge benefit to the fans that are going to watch along with us this season.
Yeah. And a lot of times their explanations are poor, or they're just flat out wrong. They're telling you that a coverage is something and it's not that coverage, or they're blaming a specific player and it's not that player's fault. There was a coverage call and the guy's doing what he's been coached to do. So, I'm really excited about sort of bringing that aspect, sort of behind the scenes, peel back the curtain, explain to people, one thing in my post-playing career that I've always thought was really funny and interesting. And, it's like when you're up in the stands, a lot of times, the guy behind you is yelling, like, call the touchdown play. Why didn't we call the touchdown play? And I want to be able to explain, like, why we can't just call the touchdown play. Why we can't just run that play, And I'm really excited about that aspect, because I realize that there's a lot of people out there that actually have a desire to know the game at a deeper level. Maybe not quite the level that I dive into. Talked about football nerds earlier. I'm a huge football nerd. I study it consistently. Even when I wasn't coaching in my post-playing career, I still was going to coaching conventions, sitting down with other coaches. I went and visited with Kirby up at Georgia. Kirby was at Alabama at the time. He was my first cornerbacks coach at Florida State. And for those of you who don't know, Kirby was the cornerback GA at Florida State, before he became Kirby Smart, what we know now. But I've gone and I sat with him. Spent hours and hours with Saban and Kirby, Mark Richt at Georgia, hours and hours with Coach Lilly, who was the tight ends coach at Florida State when I was there, was at Georgia. So I've been studying this game, whether I've been in it or playing, or even as a coach, and so, I'm excited to sort of bring and communicate, these sort of complex things, but bring it in a way that's communicated clearly and effectively, and it's not sort of coach speak. Some of these guys, a lot of times on the networks too, they're actually really good football coaches, but they don't really know how to communicate other than coach language the way that other coaches would understand.
Can I interject one more time, D-Rob?
Yeah.
Sure. This is to praise you again, so you should let me do it. The other cool thing about Dominic, this is for the audience who's who may not be as familiar with him or maybe didn't watch those videos. The other cool thing about him is when we wanted to do those videos, I said, look, man, we'll just put up these videos and you can comment on them in real time. And he was like, no, I want all the huddle and I want to analyze them before we do the video. And then afterwards, like 3 months later, after spring practice, D-Rob hit me up and he's like, hey, was I right on those evaluations? The guys who were here in the spring, like, was I right or was I wrong? Who did I get right? That's how much he cares about what he's doing. Yeah. And that's what he's going to bring to these games. And I've seen a couple questions in the chat about how it's going to work. So yeah, as Gene said, like, people, you can be watching a game on TV, but you can also have your other screen with this on YouTube. Or if you want to go back and watch it, you can go back and listen to what D-Rob had to say. So if you're at the games or you can't watch it live, you'll be able to watch the replay and hear all the things Dominic was telling you about the game after the fact if you can't catch it live. So I'm super excited about this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also,
idea,
just really quick, if you didn't watch those signing day videos, go back and watch them. They're great. And really, before the season starts, that'll be a good little primer to see, okay, what is D-Rob full of it, or did he know what he was talking about? I think I nailed it on a couple guys, just based on what I've read. I think I nailed it on a couple guys, and I think you're going to be like, wow, it's like he had some foresight. just because this is what I do. I watch. I'm in the high school space, so I'm dealing with high school athletes. I was just at Elite 11 a couple weeks ago. With all the best high school quarterbacks in the country, and obviously the best wideouts are there catching passes and all of that. So I live and breathe this stuff, man. So I do know a little bit, and hopefully I'll be able to impart some of it to you guys.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, look at that. Look what you're doing, D-Rob.
Let's go, Shane Kirkley. Let's do it.
All right. We're hitting the bottom of the hour here. Gene, you've had a stressful, hectic day and plenty beforehand. So we'll let you go if you'd like, boss. We'll give you an out here.
You can put me down in the green room. I'll hang out here. I may chime in once or twice, but yeah, I can't. I'm too excited, man. I got my brew on. Okay. I'm all jazzed up right now. I've already told the guys I'm not going to practice tomorrow. I'm sleeping in, so I'm good.
Hey, real quick, Jarek Scott asked in the chat what D-Rob's full name is. I'm going to say Dominic Robinson. I don't know your full name, but Dominic Robinson, because I think we were all yelling when Aslan introduced you earlier. So.
All right. I was yelling.
Oh, okay.
I was yelling. All right. The in-game experience is going to be awesome because first half you'll have D-Rob and myself, Dominic Robinson, and then Tom Lang will take over in the second half and then set the way for the post-game show. But before that all starts, you know the dude. He's like Mr. 850, man. So I'm going to let Ira step aside for a minute as well as Gene, and then we're going to bring in the people that are going to really drive the game day experience for Florida State fans on Warchant.com and Warchant TV. You know who he is. The man, the myth, the legend, Jeffrey Cameron, as well as Tom Lang, the director of original content for Warchant.com and the executive producer of the Jeff Cameron Show. I'm going to stop talking. Jeff, you're grinning from ear to ear, man. Thanks for being up late with us, man, big guys. So,
Rob, they're still rolling in.
Yeah, I see it. Let's go. Wait, who is that? Zach?
Z-Chan. Yeah, Zach.
Z-Chan.
It's Zach. Yeah, Z-Chan.
What's up, fellas? Good to be with you. It's good to see Dominic Robinson, who doesn't know it, but when he made the famed catch in Gainesville on 4th and 14, I picked up one of my dear friends. Some of you all know Eric Llewellyn, who's a big man, almost above my head. I was so excited and celebrated like everybody else. And then, of course, we know what happened after that with PK Sam. So I was sitting here getting excited, listening to Dominic Robinson. I know how good he's going to be. I know how good he is at what he does, and I see how excited all of these fans are. So this is good. This is a good night. A reason to celebrate across the board. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Absolutely. So again, the Warchant pregame show, the game day pregame show will be with Jeff and Tom, presented by Zaxby's before all the FSU home games. Jeff and Tom will broadcast live from the rooftop bar at the Hotel Indigo in College Town for a 2-hour game day preview show before all road games. Jeff and Tom will conduct a 1-hour pregame leading straight into the watch-along program, which will be with Dominic and either Tom and myself. So,
yes, sir. Shout out to Zaxby's.
Yeah, man. It's indescribably good, Dominic. It's indescribably good.
Shout out to Zaxby's.
Jeff, this is special that you're still awake at this hour because you're going to go to practice later on this morning. What's got you excited about the season so far? Have you seen anything from camp that's got you feeling good about what's to come around the bend?
Yeah, Dominic Robinson. I'm really excited about Dominic Robinson. No, you know what? I'm excited that they finally can, I think they can have competition and a depth of competition at that on the offensive line. It's the first time since Norvell's been here. Hell, it's the first time in the last 5-6 years that they've been able to field enough depth to have what I think will be competitive practices every day. And the offensive line has been the bane of existence here. So at the practices I've been at, they've got 9, 10, maybe 11 guys. If a couple of dudes start to emerge more than they already have once we put on the pads come Tuesday. So I'm excited about that aspect of it. I think the team is better. They've got a long way to go, and I'm ready to see them get crack-a-lacking with the pads because once that happens, you really see what some guys are. But I think that depth of the offensive line obviously gives you a chance to compete in a way that we haven't seen around here in a while.
Yeah. So, Dominic, when we do these watch-along parties, I'm going to be the guy that's going to yell, how come they didn't call the touchdown play? Tom Lang is going to, is going to look at it with a cerebral mind, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be able to kind of dial in and figure out what went wrong and why it went wrong. Tom, how excited are you to be able to work with a guy like Dominic for the in-game experience for our fans?
It's an overdue introduction as everybody's getting to know Dominic right now on Warchant TV. I am getting to know Dominic. Dominic, it's nice to meet you. How are you, man?
Yeah, nice meeting you, man. Excited to join the team.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, that's those second halves, Dominic. I think there's going to be a lot of close games this year. So, I heard you. You said you react like a lot of people do at home. So let's say it's a one-score game inside of 5 minutes and a big play is made, kind of like you made in the swamp once upon a time. What kind of reaction are you going to give the folks? Are you going to stay in coach mode, or are you going to allow the fan to come out?
So what's interesting is the Seminoles are really the only entity in athletics that sort of gets me on tilt. So there will probably be a lot of, tables shaking, desks shaking, screaming. If a 4th and 14 like happened last year happens again, and like happened back in the swamp in whatever that was, 2003. I tend to be very even keel, but the Seminoles bring it out of me. I'll probably lose it.
Well, the good news, Dominic, is I work with somebody like that every day at 1 o'clock on this channel. So I'm well versed in the passion. He's above you on the screen right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm nodding my head the whole time you're talking, Dominic. I'm the same way. I'm pretty even keel across the board. Only my Noles get me to the point where I cross the threshold of decency at times.
Correct.
Yeah. Where you immediately regret an utterance, right? Where you're like, I probably shouldn't have said that. He's trying. So, it's frustrating.
Yeah, the Noles are the only one that does it to me. Even watching my own son, I tend to stay right there, and there's nothing else, coaching wise, nothing makes me get like that. Playing golf, I tend to stay pretty good. I see you got the TaylorMade hat on, but there's something about, man, watching the Noles. There's a lot of screaming and a lot of throwing my hat and hanging my head, or like I said, I remember just going nuts when Kelvin Benjamin caught that touchdown in the national championship, and my son, who's now 17, jumped. Kind of how you said you lifted up your buddy, I lifted him up. He was only like 9 or 10 at the time, so it was a lot easier than your lift. But yeah, I'm not a guy that I'm not as reasonable and level-headed when it comes to the Noles, and everything else I stay pretty level.
Well, I did the same for the guy that you're talking to there, and Tom Lang, when we were out at the Rose Bowl together for that catch, and we were press at the time, Dominic. We weren't supposed to show emotion, but I broke those rules as well and picked Tom Lang up in the air when Kelvin Benjamin made that catch. So, yeah, I'm with you.
That was special. That was a special moment.
That was no easy feat for Jeff in 2013 as well. So, Dominic, before we part tonight, I just want to know what your number one key. So it's LSU Sunday. I think we feel okay about Duquesne. It's LSU Sunday. What's the first thing you're going to be looking at, and what's the first thing that you'll be breaking down the first quarter of that game with Aslan?
To be honest, man, I'm really, really excited to see the offense with the whole season of knowing who the quarterback is, a new sort of look up front in terms of who's blocking for that quarterback. And really just Mike Norvell being able to really put his stamp on the offense. I a year ago, I decided I was going to study Norvell. I looked back. I watched a bunch of games. I watched the Conference USA championship game, and I watched another game where they played Cincinnati just because Marcus Freeman was the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. And we were playing Notre Dame whenever that was last year. Was that week 1 last year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I went back and watched those games and really saw an offense that looked drastically different than the offense we've seen. Because I don't think he's had his pieces and his system fully in place. And so what I'm really excited about is he at that point now? Has he got the pieces that he wants, that he looks that he's looking for and that he needs in order to run the offense that he wants to run, the offense that I saw when I watched multiple Memphis games, and they just lighting up the scoreboard. So I'm really excited to see that, and I'm really excited to watch the quarterback do his thing, because I think he's a special kid. He's a special player. He's a winner. And he's just a guy that's really fun to watch. So I'm excited about watching him, not necessarily assessing and evaluating him, but I love to just watch the kid play. He just does things that you can't coach. You can't expect a kid to do. He makes plays that you don't expect a kid to make. And so excited about seeing that. And then again, watching Mike Norvell's stamp on the offense.
The over 400 folks in this room right now are excited that Dominic Robinson will be breaking down football games live as they're happening here on Warchant TV as our lead football analyst. Dominic, thanks so much for the time, man. We certainly appreciate it. We can't wait to get this thing started with you once the football season kicks off.
Appreciate it, man. Really excited.
Absolutely. That's Dominic Robinson. And so we know what game day is going to be like, but what about all the other days of the year? We've got you pretty much covered. We'll talk about all that right after this. Warchant.com has been the definitive home of all things FSU sports for over 20 years and is now part of On3, the next generation network. Warchant.com has the most experienced, tenured, and largest staff on the Florida State sports beat and now features innovative resources, including an NIL database that projects player value and a truly aggregated composite recruiting ranking system that will set the bar in the industry. You can have access to all of this in addition to Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, Seminole Headlines, complete pre, in-game, and post-game coverage, plus year-round recruiting coverage for only $1 a year. Yeah, that's right, $1, 365 days. Get some. Here's how to get started. Head over to warchant.com or on3.com. From the team's drop-down menu at the top of the screen or the upper left corner if you're on mobile, select teams, scroll down to Florida State, and then select Warchant. There, you'll see the limited offer for 1 year for $1. Tap or click, choose Florida State from the drop-down, annual or monthly, enter your billing info, and hit subscribe. That's it. $1 for a year of Warchant.com, the ultimate deal for the ultimate fan from the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. Warchant.com. Silver anniversary coming up this year for Jeff Cameron on the mic for Florida State. If you've been listening on the radio here in Tallahassee and beyond, 93.3 FM these days, as well as Warchant TV. Take over, Jeff. I don't want to talk anymore, man. How excited are you for year 25, man?
I can't believe you say it out loud like that. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around. Tom and I were talking earlier today in anticipation for this night and how excited we are to be with On3 and to be here at Warchant. And I was really excited when I left ESPN to get the opportunity to come work with guys that I respect and love and whose work I've been familiar with a long time, but guys who I've worked with for a real long time. It's just made the time fly by, quite frankly. And when you say it like that, I'm reminded of just how fast it's gone by. 25 years of covering this program, 25 years of being on the sidelines, being at practices, interviewing coaches, players, et cetera, going to home and away games and all that entails. The highest of highs and some pretty low lows here lately that we hope we're coming out of. But obviously, I couldn't be more excited. I get to do it every day with my man right there, Tom Lang, who came in and was an intern for me at my old place. And I could see the spark in his eye and the intelligence, and we hit it off immediately. Tom became really a dear friend pretty quickly. I think we both would admit it, like for whatever reason, it just clicked. And sometimes it happens that way in life. You get lucky, you come across somebody like that. So I get to work with one of my best friends in all the world, whose work ethic and intelligence I appreciate. So I'm probably more excited about this year than I've been in a long time, Tom. I think that, you probably sense that every day that we're coming to work together now, just because they're equipped to compete, man. That offensive line has been so troubling for a while now that I've kind of been out at camp, and I can be, folks may know this, I can be a bit of a Debbie Downer. If I see something that I don't think is going to cut the mustard, is going to won't translate for us on Saturdays, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to pretend it's not there. And so we've come off the practice fields over the last few years and been, frustrated. It goes back to Jimbo's final year here. Really, I was frustrated before that. So it's before Norvell and before Willie. It was at the end of Jimbo's time here where things were beginning to slide. And I think this is the first time that I've felt an air of positivity in the last 5 or 6 years, where you could look at this team and say, look, are they going to win a championship? No, but do you have the building blocks now to put together a good season that puts in place a record and moments in time that's going to impress recruits, where you can bring in a higher caliber of player? I think that's true. I think they do have that, and I'm really excited for them. This is the week for me. I mean, I've been at all the practices except for today's. I didn't go to today's. I will be at tomorrow's. And of course, I'll be there this week because they're putting on the pads. And this is what I'm waiting for now. When they get the pads on, the rubber meets the road and you find out a little something about folks. I think they've got some players, especially up front. So this competition has me jazzed.
Dude, they were doing something today on the practice fields that I haven't seen. And Ira and Corey and I were talking about it down the third baseline of Hauser. They were running 2 fields. They were running 2 fields worth of reps at the same time because they have enough offensive linemen to be able to pull that off. So you remember when Jimbo back in the day used to do 1s and 3s and 2s and 4s? They were doing something akin to that today with practice. And look, it's just it was a sign of they have the tools to succeed. And look, this is what On3 provides all FSU fans too, as I see that on the full screen. They have the tools to help Warchant succeed in a way it hasn't before. So $1 for the whole year. That's the special. You go sign up for that right now. But that's what I feel like when I see the look in some of the players' eyes between reps, if you have to be everything to an offense as a star running back or as a star quarterback, you can see the weight of that in somebody's eyes. I'm looking at guys who on defense and on offense finally have the look that somebody else, I trust them to do their job. All I got to focus on is to do mine. So that's what makes me excited. Like, for example, Jordan Travis doesn't look like a deer in the headlights. He's had offensive coordinators that are different every single year. And again, Alex Atkins is a new offensive coordinator for him. But when you watch him govern practice, he's got calm in his eyes. And that's the thing that gives me hope, is that it's not just him. He's the leader on the offense, but I see a lot of players on both sides of the ball that look like, I trust what they're going to do, so let me focus on my job. That's how you get better as a team, and that's what, the analogy holds, I think, for what we're doing right now as a business, but that's the thing that has me excited for the football season.
Yeah, and competition is what makes you better as a team too. And you can't get better every day if what you're seeing across from you is not challenging you, is not of the caliber that you're going to be facing week in and week out. And I think that's been missing some on the line of scrimmage for the last couple of years. It's been pretty one-sided in practice. Now, the defense still carries the day, but that's always true of any camp when they first open up. Defense is always ahead of offense. We know that. But I'm seeing better competition at the line of scrimmage right now on offense and defense, and that just has me excited because that's what allows for all that other stuff to happen. That gives Jordan more time. That gives receivers time to get open. That gives us a chance to kind of call plays differently. So I think when you watch that and you see that every day, you can't help but get excited about the possibilities. They got to get better, but that's what this camp is for. We got plenty of time to get better. It's a lot of fun to watch right now.
Yeah, and it's something also, we assume that everybody who's watching right now on Warchant TV knows exactly what we do, but it's 1:00 every day right here on Warchant TV. We got live programming. The JCS is Monday, Wednesday through Friday. On Tuesday at Seminole Headlines, we'll bring those guys in for just a moment, the heavy hitters, you and Corey and Ira. But as we get through camp, as we progress through full pads starting on Tuesday, they go to Jacksonville in just under 2 weeks from now as well for a couple of days. What are the things that we're going to be talking about, Jeff? What are we going to be talking about? Not on just game days of pregames, but what are those things that we're looking for, those boxes to check between now and the kickoff against Duquesne? Even though that feels like scrimmage 3, what's the thing we're waiting for between now and the 27th?
I'd like to see, I think we're going to release it later. I know that we did a roundtable and Ira posed some questions to us. And I talked a little bit about some things that I'd like to see. I'd like to see this receiving core become more consistent and have somebody within that group emerge. Now, they got really unfortunate with the luck with Winston Wright's car accident. I'm glad he's progressing nicely. Sure hope he gets back to play the bulk of the season, obviously. But I think that, Micah Pittman being added to this receiving core was something that got us all excited, and for good reason. He had a great spring. I think he's going to have a good camp. I need one of the other players, returning players, whether that's Kentron Portier, it could be, again, Malik McLean taking a step forward. I'd like to see another guy within that segment group getting better each day and becoming more consistent. You see guys right now within that receiving core have good days and bad days. You've seen Johnny Wilson have good days and bad days. You've seen really all of these guys do that. I want to see a little bit more consistency there. I think they found it at linebacker. Tatum Bethune's good every time I go out to practice. He turns heads. Azareye'h Thomas is something that is, to me, a budding star. I don't know how they're going to keep him off the field. So there are a lot of areas where I get really excited. Trey Benson looks like an NFL running back right now with that speed and size. Can you get some consistency there within the receiving core as we go through camp? I'm going to be talking a lot about that, I know, and that competition that I keep referencing on the line of scrimmage between these offensive linemen, because I think there's 3 spots possible that may be up for grabs on this offensive line, and that competition will be fierce.
Yeah, I don't want us to get our credentials revoked, so I'll keep it general. But there are some drills that are more difficult for offensive linemen. They're put in a position to largely fail. And in spring, I remember walking over to Ira after one of the practices saying, are they just designed to always lose this drill? Because they are. And already through a couple of days of shoulder pads, I'm seeing that group win the battles in those same drills. And that's the kind of improvement that we're looking forward to document this year. It's just the whole thing is, does it pay off to 8 wins plus? Because if it does, then it gets really, really fun with Warchant and On 3. And Brandon, thank you so much for your contribution. Is that yen? I'm not sure what the symbol is for that particular currency, but we take them all, man. We really appreciate your contribution to Midnight Madness on Warchant TV. And look, man, Jeff, this is year 14 for me covering the team in some form or fashion. The time flies. My hairline is starting to creep a little bit on the edges.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know who you're about to welcome in, and the 3 of us are going to look at your hairline and slap you in the face tomorrow if you're complaining about your hair.
Well, I mean, I made it to my mid-30s, so that's always a bonus. I got married, so it's all okay. It's all great from here. But yeah, it is time to bring in the Seminole Headlines panel with the headliners themselves. They're out there in the chat. Go ahead and get involved. Scream loud from the mountaintops. Here they are. Corey Clark, lead writer, Warchant.com, making his debut tonight on Midnight Madness.
Why so soon, guys? Why did you bring me in so soon? It's only 12:58.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a text from you saying, can I come on later?
Well, you're right. Hey, Tom, that's between us, man. You don't need to blow up my spot.
You're welcome. You're welcome is all I'm saying.
Thank you, Tom. You're the best.
Ira, you're on mute. Nobody can hear you. What's going on with you?
What's the matter with you, Ira?
It's too late.
I'm sorry. So my guy, Corey, was supposed to be on our pre-show meeting, correct? Was he supposed to be on our pre-show meeting?
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Guess who wasn't on our pre-show meeting?
He never is.
But then shows up during the show in text. I must have 15 messages from Corey complaining about him not being on the show.
That's not true. You had 2 messages about that. I also said D-Rob. I said D-Rob is better than all of us. Like, that guy's a damn star. That was nuts.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, no, like, that's a big deal to be able to have him in the fold for those games. And, yeah, I mean, I guess you guys were all my opening act. And here I am at 12:58 closing the show. That's what I feel like anyway.
You're Michael and Austin's opening act.
Oh yeah, they still got it cut. Are they still on deck?
Langston and Cox are the headliners, buddy.
Oh my word, gang! This is going to go till 2:30.
There's no noise ordinance here, buddy. They can play all night. Just keep it coming.
Technically, I'm the moderator for you guys, but this is the easiest moderator job in the world. Y'all go. Just whatever you want to talk about. You go ahead. Talk about the experience. It
got asked earlier today, and we all had to put in our experience and how long we've been doing this. Fellas, what was the first year the 3 of us, because Seminole Headlines has been around for a while, and I'm trying to remember the first time the 3 of us did it, and then that became the permanent thing.
It was like probably 2 weeks before Jimbo's debut. So 2010. Because I remember we started between Bowden and Jimbo. So it was 2 weeks before his debut.
And we have a mutual friend that used to be on the show by the name of Jim Lamar. And we all love Jim Lamar. Shout out to Jim Lamar. But Jim had a chronic cough. And what were you going to do? You know, my man couldn't say a sentence without coughing. And we were like, okay, I'm done with this. Can you get that slappy Corey Clark in here? He can do it without coughing, surely.
And he was a busy man. He had a lot of other stuff going on at the Democrat at the time. So,
Jim, you know you're a coughing Jesse.
But anyway, but going back before that, though, so when I used to do your show, and look, man, I'm a team player, Corey.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt you. Z-Chan DMD, his name is Zach, is that right?
Yes.
He's throwing big money at us. Zach, you're a good dude. Thank you very much for all that. We really do appreciate it.
there's a bunch of people. Michael Ellis needs to get a shout out.
Yep.
Okay.
Super sticker from Michael Ellis. That's right. Thank you, Michael, for your contribution tonight.
And everybody else that's watching, dude, it's crazy. Who would have thought, 12:30, 1 in the morning, we'd have 400 or so people and more.
Let me ask this question
watching the live chat
of the panel. If this was going on and you weren't involved in it, how many of you would be up watching it?
If you were
Jeff, you'd been asleep for 3 hours. Tom, I feel like
I was asleep at 10:15. If this,
Tom, I feel like the same with
happen,
you too, right?
Same. Unless the Mets are playing Sunday Night Baseball, I'm done by like 9:30.
Right.
Let me give my headlines history though. So I used to do Jeff's show all the time back in the day. Back then it was Tuesdays. Now it's Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple times where I couldn't do it. And you were at the Democrat. And I said, Jeff, give this kid Corey a shot. I'm telling you, he'd be great. Give him a chance. He just needs a chance.
I don't know.
Jeff,
I don't know. There aren't too many people that I trust. And I mean, I don't know. I've seen Corey.
Yeah.
I was.
What does that mean?
That was the old Corey.
Yeah,
not
that was
the
the
new
old
sleek
wasn't
Corey.
this. It wasn't.
I just didn't see the athlete, and I thought, I don't know. I just don't know.
What's he gonna say? Yeah.
So then once we started doing headlines, though, man, it took off, and here we are. And what's crazy is, at the time, Corey and I were at the Democrat. Jeff was at a different radio station. Then when I left the Democrat to go to Warchant, like everybody was like, "What's going to happen to headlines? What's going to happen to headlines?" And then
nobody more so than me, Ira. I was like, "You're going to leave. What is going to happen to headlines?"
And then we got you over. Then we got these guys over, and the empire just continues to grow.
Yeah, and by the way, we do, for the people out there who want to know, because I get asked this a lot, I think you guys do too, and I can genuinely say that we really do have a hell of a lot of fun doing that show, and it's not work. It's not work when it's the three of us. It's just, I mean, it's always kind of just flowed. The roles have always worked themselves out pretty nicely, so we're just glad that they listen to it, watch it, and continue to subscribe to it and hang out with us, so it's just fun.
Yeah, and we've got the elite headliners are the best in the business, so we appreciate them as well.
So here's an informal question for you guys. When Florida State goes over 500 this year for the first time in some time, who gets more credit for it? On3, the network, or Corey's gallbladder?
Ooh, good question. My gallbladder saw a lot of wins, though, guys. Don't forget that. My gallbladder was there for 3 national championships.
Yeah, but it was failing back then. Remember,
look, it's been on the fritz for 4 or 5 years now. You're right.
Your gallbladder was the fridge we keep fixing, and while I walk in the room going, "Why don't we just get a new fridge? Why don't we just get a new fridge, guys? Why do we keep fixing this fridge?" That was Corey's gallbladder.
Yeah, it was a Band-Aid. It wasn't getting it done. You're right. So now that the gallbladder's out, look, guys, I don't know. I don't see how they lose a game this year.
Well, I just want to point out, in tradition, if tradition holds, Corey Clark will take credit for the winning season in some capacity. So correct. I don't know if there'll be a moment where he thinks he asked some insightful question that nobody else noticed, but that he sure was the greatest question ever asked, or what it'll be. But it's at that moment that he will declare that he is the reason Florida State's winning again. And I'm fine with it because I like tradition. So that's fine.
And I also like winning games. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I got to claim a winning season. It's gotten so bad, I take credit for a 5-7 season. Like turning it around from an 0-4 start. But I will say this, I am genuinely excited about this move, and it is incredible that you can get Warchant for $1. That's nuts. I'm not going to do the Carl salesman flipping the thing in the air and losing my mind, but it is crazy that you can get, even taking me out of it, and why would you? Because I'm incredible. But taking me out of it, everything else at Warchant for $1 for a year, I added it up. I did a little math, gang. It's 8.3 cents a month. 8.3 cents a month you can get for Warchant. So you need to do it. But also, man, I'm excited about On3 and making that move. I'm excited about this season. Legitimately, I'm excited about this season. I know we all know they're not going to win a championship this year, but watching them practice and just the vibe around the team and the experience and guys they have returning and the new guys, I'm excited to see what this thing looks like for the first time in a long while.
Hey, and we're going to see it again in about 7.5 hours.
I was going to say, I'll see you there in a few minutes.
No lie. We keep this up. Y'all could have just got me on my drive to practice.
I was going to say, we could have all done this from the facility.
Yeah.
All right. So Corey's going to stick around. I'll let Jeff and Ira go on this question for all three of you guys. Who is going to be the last person to show up at practice tomorrow between the three of you?
Corey.
Oh, Corey Clark.
I know.
Yeah, Corey Clark. Corey Clark, I agree.
He's actually wavering right now whether he's going to be there. I can see it in his face.
I mean, I'll be there. I'll be there at 10, right? When do they start doing team drills? Is that like 10:30? I'll be there
I
at
will
10:30.
say we don't really need to watch him stretch at 8:50. So I'm with you there, Corey. So
Right? You see what I'm saying?
You
see
guys
what
are
I'm saying?
encouraging him. You guys are encouraging him.
And now everybody sees what it's like behind the scenes for Ira. Like, oh, okay, great. So nobody's going to be there for stretch except me. That's wonderful. I'll be there at stretch though. At
Ira loves stretch, man. He loves it. That's his thing.
He gets in there. He's monitoring that stretch. He portends of the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'll see a whole lot of you in just a short time, man. Thanks. And Ira, I know you've been pounding the keyboard behind the scenes, man. Hopefully your fingers aren't too sore.
Going back to it now. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you at on 3.
Good year. What is it? So it's a penny? They get it for a penny, Corey?
Essentially a penny a month. A penny a month.
8 pennies a month.
Yeah, 8 pennies a month.
Crazy pennies.
See you guys. All right, we're going to move the panel. I get to moderate a real panel now because, I get to ask questions. Oh, wait a minute. There he is. Aslan, what's going on? All right. So you guys have Wake Up Warchant. Usually that's released right around now.
An hour ago, normally, yeah.
Is Wake Up Warchant already released is my first question.
Yes. It was in the bag several hours ago before Corey got in the bag. So it's all good to go.
Buddy, 2 vodkas. Give me a break. Come on.
No,
I'm fine.
If you are, Corey, you're really managing it very well, if that's the case for you.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
By the way, Corey, let everybody know. Sorry, Tom. Let everybody know real quick that you are in good health. Some people think that you're losing weight because you're fighting something beyond your control, but no, this is all part of the master plan to be just the best Corey Clark you possibly can be.
Yeah, no, I lost weight not because the gallbladder, the pain in my stomach was the reason I changed my life. But yeah, I started drinking this all the time. I got off the soda. I got off the beer. I changed my diet. I try to stay away from fried foods. And I started working out with a personal trainer 5 days a week. And I'm down 25 pounds. But I did have to get my gallbladder taken out. So I can't work out for another 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm chomping at the bit a little bit, Aslan, because again, this isn't an accident, gang. This takes work. And it's a discipline that most of you guys would never understand. But yeah, so that's what happened is I'm actually in the best shape of my life. I was too heavy in February when my scare happened. I went to the ER, and now I feel like I'm right at my perfect body weight. And that's what everybody's tuned in for. So now you got your update.
That is it. Well, you know what else takes discipline is the Mets plate approach, Corey. And we've got a contribution from Jordan. Thank you very much, Jordan. It's for not wearing a Mets hat tonight because I'm a Braves fan like you, Corey. So
be cool if the Mets ever lost, Tom. That'd be nice. And you get DeGrom back. Congratulations. Good
I'm
work.
not so sure. I'm
Good
not
work.
sure it would be. So, fellas, Aslan, you really haven't had a chance to put your analyst cap on and observer's cap on. Well, you've seen all 4 practices. You've seen most of these reps. Sometimes you're uploading videos because we are the fastest right here at Warchant and Warchant TV. But what have you seen so far, Aslan? Break it down. What has you excited and or feeling differently maybe than you did before camp started?
I'm buying into the Tatum Bethune thing. I'm not saying like I didn't see it as in I saw him play during the spring and I was like, what's the big deal? I just literally never saw him do anything. I never saw him like on the field participating in things, but everybody else did on this panel and everybody had him really high on the top 4. And I was like, we'll see about that. But now I'm starting to see it. So that's really cool. I think the consistency from the receivers, guys like Pokey, and I mean, Johnny Wilson, that Corey's been really bullish on. I thought he had a bit of a shaky spring and it was drops. And that was something that kind of haunted him at Arizona State. Not that, 4 practices puts it totally behind him, but man, he's come out really sort of focused, has been really consistent catching the football, which is a big part of his job, obviously. So I guess kind of believing in the linebacking course, seeing these receivers, maybe be a little bit of a spark plug for Jordan in the offense. And I mentioned this to Corey when we did the wrap-up, Tom. There was parts of practice, I saw the final 2 periods of 11-on-11, and maybe who we would deem as the first team back end of the defense wasn't out there with the rest of the first teamers, which I hope I'm not getting us in trouble.
Way to keep it general. That's good.
Yeah. But the defense still was doing really well. So, what does that mean? Like, do we have a salty front 7 or front 6, I guess, if we're going to be playing with 5 guys in the secondary? I don't know. And that doesn't make me feel, I'm not downing the offense. It's just like, man, this defense just is finding out. They're figuring out a way. You put 6 or 7 of those guys that we think are first teamers out there, and this defense is doing quite well. So, yeah, I feel pretty good right now for being a Debbie Downer. I do.
Well, Corey hasn't been a Debbie Downer tonight. He said he doesn't think Florida State's going to lose a game after the energy, the bump of the on-3 push. Folks, if you don't realize, you could subscribe to Warchant TV and Warchant.com combined for $1 right now if you haven't subscribed to both.
For the year.
FSU fans, we welcome you all. And if you're on the channel and you said, look, man, the website's not my deal, I like video only, you could try it for a year for $1 and see what everybody's talking about. So these are things that I want you to consider right now on Warchant TV, as about 400 of you are still with us past 1 a.m. on the East Coast. It's 10 p.m. Corey time. Corey, your thoughts on the LSU game? That's the game that everybody's looking forward to. What percentage chance, roughly speaking, of course, we've been through 4 days of practice, for crying out loud, what percentage chance would you give FSU coming out of that one with a win and the kind of momentum that you could only write books about 6 months ago, because there's a bye week after they're playing LSU?
I mean, I would give them a 50.2% chance.
Woo.
It's literally a coin flip to me, that game. I would say I got a better question for you, I think. But I'm starting to believe in this defense. We'll see. Like, again, they're not going to be 2021 Georgia. They're not going to hold teams to 9 points a game or whatever it is. But if they can hold teams to 20, then maybe the offense doesn't have to take the big jump that I thought it had to take to get this team to 8 wins, because that defense has been really impressive so far. And it all, a lot comes down to, my opinion, Briggs and McClendon. I think Burst is going to make some plays. He's just built that way. He's going to figure out what he's doing. He's going to make some mistakes, but I think his physicality and just his overall mindset isn't the right word, but that dude just wants to go make plays. And so he's going to make some plays, and he's got the physical ability to do it. We all want to make plays, right? But he's got the physical ability to do it. I think he's going to get himself in trouble sometimes. Dennis Briggs, Derek McClendon, how they play, to me, kind of maybe even dictates the entire season. If they can be Keir Thomas, then, man, you've got yourself a really good defensive line because of those guys in the middle.
Yeah, Briggs looks the part physically like Keir Thomas. I think he's been the more impressive of the two so far, but they haven't put full pads on. And Aslan,
yeah, but Tom, I was telling Aslan this at the wrap up after practice. I've heard now 4 or 5 times from Fuller and Norvell the word special used to describe Dennis Briggs. I don't think they throw that around like lightly. I think they think there's something about that guy that we haven't seen yet, for injury or youth or COVID or whatever the reason. They think that guy has some special in him, and that's what I'm really interested in seeing. And if he's special, then, yeah, LSU might be in trouble.
He did in spring. He had special in spring, and it wasn't just the beginning before full pads came on. He finished, I thought, really strong in spring. So, again, and Aslan asked an alert question today, how freely can you play as a defender when you don't have all of the pads on? It allows you a little bit more footloose and fancy-free type play, rep to rep. I know. Well, it is 115. I'm going to get a little flowery.
I like footloose and fancy free. I like it.
More just footloose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a good question, because this week when Tuesday and the pads come on, you tune in right here to Warchant TV. You head to Warchant.
But here's the question I wanted to ask you, too. What percentage of the players, just a percentage of the Florida State football players, know how to pronounce Duquesne by reading it on a schedule? And maybe not now because they've heard Norvell say it. Like, hey, we're not thinking about LSU. All eyes on Duquesne. But 5 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, what percentage of the FSU football players knew how to pronounce Duquesne?
I'm just going to put it like it was, what percentage of the population under 25 would know how to pronounce Duquesne if they see it on a piece of paper?
Sure.
And it's
no, it's not a judgment on them. It's a judgment on that school.
38%.
What do you think, Aslan?
I think it's less. I would take the under probably on 38. Yeah. 5% just came on.
5% might. I remember, because you guys wouldn't know this, you're too young, but George McLeod's last game at Florida State, and this is the stuff you get at Warchant, folks. This is the stuff you get from Corey Clark. George McLeod's last game at Florida State, they lost in the NCAA tournament to Duquesne, and it was an upset. Florida State was like the 5 seed. It was Pat Kennedy's second year in the tournament, and they were a 5 seed, I think, or a 4 seed. Duquesne was a 13. And I remember the next day going to school, and everybody knew I was a Florida State fan. And this kid's like, man, Florida State got crushed by Duquesne. And I'm like, buddy, it's Duquesne, but shut up. And I feel like there's most people when they see that would be like, oh, that must be Duquesne or Duquesne. There's no reason for kids in the South and Florida kids that are football fans to know how to pronounce Duquesne.
I guess I'm just the optimist on people's ability to take
I
a
got
look
you,
at the
Tom.
word.
I like it.
Well,
I like it.
Hey, I'm setting the over/under wins on 8.5 right now. There's the optimism.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
Even with my gallbladder out, you should take the over.
No, well, that's why it's the gallbladder effect. It
Yeah.
pushed it a full game from 7.5 to 8.5.
Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Aslan, you've been driving like a pro tonight. I'm going to ask you to promo things once more because you obviously have the button to hit the video in just a moment. But
Am I out?
You are about out, Corey. Just sit tight for 10 damn more seconds.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Aslan Wake Up Warchant's live right now, but it's also on this channel. I don't know that everybody knows that. They can find it on their podcast platform, but it's on Warchant TV.
It is. That's right. Shout out to Adam, by the way, who says he joined because he subscribed because mostly Wake Up Warchant. Usually have to give us money, but you just gave us $1, a whole $1.
You're the man, Adam. You're the man. Enjoy it, buddy. You're going to like it.
Tom, so is that my cue to hit the video?
Unless you want to promo anything else. It's up to you, pal.
Let's do
Hey,
it.
tell them about Wake Up Warchant, Aslan. Give them a 30-second brief rundown of the history of Wake Up Warchant.
I don't know all of it. It's awesome. I get to hang out with Corey, and Corey carries a show, and I pick cool music to start it off with. And then it's going to be Tuesdays with Tommy. We got to record with Tom later today on Monday for Tuesdays with Tom. And we'll get Ira later on. So we'll get more of a groove again, these guys involved in the show. So it's not just me bothering Corey to pick up the slack that I'm leaving down or whatever. So I did see somebody drop $1.99 talking about somebody named Sampson. That's a recruit, I think. So let's bring in some recruiting dudes. But first, don't forget, sign up, everybody. All Florida State fans. It's $1 for an entire year. I promise you, it's only $1. Right, Corey? How much? 8.33 cents?
8.3 cents a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Piece of cake. All right. Check that out. Warchant.com has been the definitive home of all things FSU sports for over 20 years and is now part of On3, the next generation network. Warchant.com has the most experienced, tenured, and largest staff on the Florida State sports beat and now features innovative resources, including an NIL database that projects player value and a truly aggregated composite recruiting ranking system that will set the bar in the industry. You can have access to all of this in addition to Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, Seminole Headlines, complete pre, in-game, and post-game coverage, plus year-round recruiting coverage for only $1 a year. Yeah, that's right, $1, 365 days. Get some. Here's how to get started. Head over to warchant.com or on3.com. From the team's drop-down menu at the top of the screen or the upper left corner if you're on mobile, select teams, scroll down to Florida State, and then select Warchant. There, you'll see the limited offer for 1 year for $1. Tap or click, choose Florida State from the drop-down, annual or monthly, enter your billing info, and hit subscribe. That's it. $1 for a year of Warchant.com, the ultimate deal for the ultimate fan from the Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Warchant.com. We saved the best for last, Tom, right?
That's it. These are the anchors right here. These guys have only been working tirelessly all week. Michael Langston, the senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. Austin Cox, who is a glue guy, the glue guy for Warchant.com. He does everything in terms of helping us site front, behind the scenes, recruiting, team reporting. He's at practices. He's outside at Doak early in the morning, late at night when recruits are showing up on official visits. Michael and Austin, good evening. How are you guys?
Good evening, guys. Glad to be here. Obviously, this is a humongous night for Warchant.com and On3. Shannon Terry was on here earlier. Obviously, I've worked with Shannon before, so I know what an icon this guy is, and the team that they put together. I mean, I don't think people really can grasp like the recruiting national team that these guys have. They have Charles Power, Chad Simmons, who Gene alluded to early in the process. Really good friend of mine, but he's the best, elite. And Sam Spiegelman, who I've worked with as well. So many guys that are top of the line that are working, and just the stuff they do with NIL is just game changing. It's just it's nothing I've ever seen, and the time they put into this stuff is going to make our site certainly incredible and take it to another level. And I don't know if you can see it on our face, but I know I am elated and excited. I can't wait. I want to jump through the screen, guys. I'm so excited for this. What we have. I've already put a post out on the premium recruiting board, and welcoming everyone. As Tom and everyone said, we encourage all FSU fans to come join. Just loving everything. I'm just excited to be a part of and just our team in general. We mentioned Austin Cox. Austin has really grown a lot as far as everything he does. He does a lot of recruiting. He does a lot of team. We juggle him everywhere. It's like a DH. We just put him anywhere, whenever we need him. But Austin does a phenomenal job. And I want to say this about Gene. Gene, I've known for over 25 years. Really good friend of mine, but I've told Tom this before. He is the greatest boss to work with, because Gene lets you give ideas of what you need, and he really listens. And sometimes we don't always agree, but we iron it out, and he's just the greatest boss to work with, and I'm elated to be a part of this.
Michael, you've been in the recruiting game for over 20 years now. Warchant, over a decade easily. Austin, you're a young pup, but the thing I love about you, my first assignment on Warchant, we were driving up to ACC kickoff together last year, and we were in the second row. We were the second row crew. Aslan and Ira were up front, and your unbridled enthusiasm for this job, whether it's the pong paddles on the old school screen are team and recruiting, and you are the ball, just getting beep, 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 bounce back and forth. But today's a pretty cool day, Austin, and give your thoughts on just how excited you are for what we're about to do at On3. And then after you do so, take us through your week and some of the assignments you've been on, just so people can get an idea of all the things that you do behind the scenes for us.
Well, I really appreciate it, Tom. This is as Michael was kind of alluding to, this is a really special day for Warchant. A really special day for On3. We're just so excited to be a part of this, and to be a part of what Gene has built with everyone. Just for folks that just to know a little bit about me. I know a lot of the guys on the staff have been around for 10 or 20 years and are kind of have been covering Florida State, and y'all know them really well. I actually grew up, kind of following all of them as well. Whether it's Ira at the Democrat, I actually remember, the first day, you and Jeff and debuted y'all's show, and when you were coming up, and of course I've always loved following Michael's recruiting, and it's just great to work with all of y'all, and I'm just so excited to be here, and it's just it's an amazing day. And we're really just we've always felt like we've been one of the best, and we're just going to try and push it and make it even better, and just make this the best site on the internet for all of our subscribers. This is just a really special day for Warchant, and I'm just honored to be a part of it, frankly.
Well, Austin, there are always people in business. I used to be this person for others that make you feel old. And I was that person for Jeff and some of the other people on the beat. They're like, man, how old? Are you kidding me? That's you, and that's Director Matthew, who's behind the scenes as well, who's helping us out in the chat and making sure things run smoothly. You two make me feel old as I'm entering the latter part of my 30s. But that's enough pleasantries. Let's get to some blood and guts stuff, because this is a busy weekend for FSU recruiting.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it a camp because Michael hates that. But it was a Seminole showcase and a Seminole cookout. And Florida State also landed the services of a transfer defensive back. So, Michael, if you can summarize as best you can in the last 24 to 36 hours, we did a recruiting show right here on Warchant TV, which is something you can expect on Warchant TV. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. But tell me about what Florida State's been doing, hosting how many recruits over the last day and a half?
Yeah, I hosted over probably, I would say, around 70. There were kids in there. Some went to the showcase, some kind of visited different days, coming on Thursday, Friday. It was a very kind of you're looking forward to it, because it's the big finale for the summer, but a phenomenal event. For those that didn't haven't read some of our stuff, I mean, it was you had kickball tournament right there in the IPF. You had a meet and greet to start with, and then you had a laser tag thing, and it was just really executed very well from the staff of just you can't just have everything. It's just like we're going to work your ass off and that's it, and we're going to coach you hard. And they did that at the Seminole Showcase, elite camp. I'll call it a camp now, but I don't care. But it they coach these guys like they're their own players, and the kids really responded to that. And then when they were done with the camp, they had a water balloon flight, and I swear I thought I was going to get hit by a few of them. It was just they made sure there was always something kind of flow. Really positive weekend. Shared my thoughts. We got a lot of recruiting wrap on the thing, and I thought it was very positive. I will tell people I've already forecasted Blake Nicholson. Feel even better about that. Really good about FSU landing another linebacker in this class. On 3, he's a consensus 4-star. So
hey, you can say that now, Michael. That's great.
Yeah, it feels good. And so I think he's a hell of a linebacker. He was there since Thursday. I swear I thought I was never going to leave the Moore Athletic Center today. He was there just all day long. Finally left at 4:30. You just felt throughout the whole weekend, though, it was like there's a connection with FSU that he just doesn't have when anywhere else. And I will also say, 5-star Shelton Sampson, we're going to have our 10 to watch. He will be in there. He's announcing on August 6th. Not going to say it's going to be that I'm predicting FSU, but I think FSU is much more in that than I think a lot of people think. I think LSU is kind of the obvious favorite, but I think FSU is certainly a major player in the race for wide receiver, 5-star Shelton Sampson. So I think that's something I'm kind of monitoring to see how that trickles and how that develops throughout the week as we get closer to that decision. But this just feels like a lot of juice within this program. Tom, just when you look at the commitments they picked up, Keldrick Fox, the Roger Kearney. By the way, Roger Kearney's top 100 player on 3. So one of the top players out there, and Keldrick Fox also rated pretty high. But just landing these guys coming off like a 5-7 season, I think it says a lot about, one, what the kids believe in the vision, and two, just where what you do with the relationships and why relationships matters. NIL is very important, but it's also what you do with the kids when they're there. They want to see what's real. Who's real? Who's going to be real with me? And this staff has done a hell of a job with that.
Michael, one more question for you about Blake Nicholson, because Aslan had put up the graphic with the prediction machine on 3. And folks, if you're used to other networks and you haven't taken a look at the front-facing stuff that on 3
it's
has,
incredible. It's amazing. Just to interject there, Tom. We've been so excited to get to work with the on 3 rankings in the system. If anyone that hasn't checked it out yet, it has so many features that no one else had in the industry has. Their entire databases, to say it's the next class, and kind of echo what Shannon Terry was saying earlier, to say it's becoming the next step and where the industry is going, I'd say is an understatement. It is an amazing system that they have and rankings that they have.
Yeah, and for you, Tom, I know you can take a lot of pride in this. Their graphics, are unreal. For the when you put a prediction in, I haven't seen anything like that. The value of both NIL, but also it gives you a feel for who has even the smallest chance. It tells you, and then when the experts make a pick, you can kind of follow who's made the pick, and it gives everyone a chance to be an expert. Fans can go out there and say their part, but the graphics with it, the way it's detailed is on next level. It's just nothing I've ever seen, and I've been around for 21 years doing this, and I haven't seen stuff that the NIL is doing. The video people, the graphic people. I don't know who all of them are, but they do a phenomenal job. The database is just out of this world, and I'm so excited to work with a lot of these national guys. Because first off, like I got to say, a lot of these guys are good friends of mine. There's new guys, even more new guys that are going to add that I haven't worked with before. And so I'm excited about just where this is going, because it's going to take recruiting, I think, to another level. That's the thing I haven't talked about, is like what the national team means to what Warchant's going to do, and the fact that we're going to have those guys in different aspects and different events that they're going to go to and stuff like that, and even FSU targets. It's a game changer, not just for team stuff. And we have the best team around. Jeff Cameron, yourself, Aslan, obviously Austin helping out with team stuff. Irish Chaffel, Corey Clark, that is like the dynamic duo, and then Gene's kind of running the ship. So to have that along with the recruiting, I mean, I think we have the complete package now with everything with recruiting and team, and then now adding D-Rob, my man D-Rob. I love D-Rob. I had to talk with him, when his son was first getting recruited, and we talked about different things with Norvell, and just to have him on board, and Ira was spot on, like when he was talking about how he broke down the 2022 class. I love that. I think another point Ira said that was right on the money is you can't explain, football acronym, the way that coaches talk. You have to talk where people can understand what you're talking about. And I think even when recruiting, D-Rob broke it down really well, where people can kind of grasp like why this guy, freshman, can, it's going to take a little longer, why this guy is going to be early and get on the field. We've already seen that with Azare Thomas and Sam McCall out there. They've looked phenomenal. A lot of other freshmen certainly have stood out. I couldn't believe how big this line was when I got out there. I was like amazed. But the other thing I'll say about our team, see, I don't get to see the team that much. I'm on my other world, because I don't usually go to team stuff. So I got chance this week. I went to my 3 practices, and I'm watching Ira, and I'm watching Aslan, even Tom and Jeff. And I'm like, this is freaking awesome watching these guys just, to jot the notes down, get everything.
Don't forget about you, buddy.
I don't never get to see these guys. So watching them work, it's truly special, guy. I mean, I hope all the fans at Warchant get understand like the type of grind these guys put in, because they are the best of the best. And I'm watching them do the notes, and it's like I'm just like a fan when I'm there, watching them. So it's pretty cool just seeing them work, because I know they're usually putting stuff up for me. So I wanted to give a lot of our team guys some props, because I saw it for myself for the first time, and it's just great. I just everything together is phenomenal.
What's
Hey,
your
Tom,
seat?
just to cut you off one more time, I just want to say, because he's a humble guy and he doesn't want to just put this out there, but Michael is, obviously one of the best people in this business to recruit. He's taught everything I know. I've learned from Michael. I'm like a quarterback on the field, and he's like the head coach calling the play for me. He is, obviously we have the best guy in the business. We're on our recruiting side. Anyone that's interested in subscribing there, isn't familiar with us or isn't familiar with our work, that wants to take a look, you're going to see the best in the business, because we're going to provide it for you. And Michael is obviously always what's going to be spearheading it. And we're all just following line after him because of the work. And I talk about the work and the hours putting in and the grind. No one does grind like Michael and the way that he covers FSU recruitment.
That is an earnest pitch. It's almost like he's been in the recruiting game so long, he's picked up some of the good position coaches around the country and their tactics to make sure that they give you an earnest and honest pitch. And it is an honest one. We're loaded here on 3. What you're seeing, real quick, guys, what you're seeing is 2 gentlemen who feel they're given more tools to succeed. When I couldn't even get out a word about the prediction machine, they're like, guys, wait a minute. What do you see what's going on here? This is helping us succeed. And that's, there are some players on FSU's roster that look that way now that did maybe this time last year. These 2 guys, they know what they're talking about, because they have to work through the back end of websites for specific purposes to make it present nicely for you. And they're saying it's a lot better, which means the consumer experience is a lot better. Go ahead, Michael, and then I'm going to ask you one recruiting question before we pivot to the close.
I was just going to say, away from recruiting, because I've been watching the whole show. I've been watching this whole thing. And how about Joel dropping down 500? Now, for those that don't know Joel, I'll give you a background. He works in a funeral. So, Joel's in Panama City. Yep. What's up, Joel? My man, I got a chance to meet Joel. Great guy. met him at the spring game too. So I think that's pretty cool. And guys, whether you ever give $1 or whatever, we really take those seriously, the contributions, and so we love all our people that are joining Warchant, but at the same time, just want to give Joel a little shout out.
Yeah, well, absolutely you should. And Joel, excuse me, knows when there might be cause for a sad occasion, and I don't think there's any funerals this year for Florida State in the fall to come. So, yeah, I know that was a tough segue from funeral to success on the football field, but I tried it, and I think I kind of stuck the landing there. Aslan had wiped up the prediction machine for Blake Nicholson just a little while ago, and if you look at it on 3, it's pretty. I'll grant you that, Michael, but it's well over 90% on 3 for Oregon. Why are they wrong, Michael? This is the final question for you, you guys, and then we'll wrap it up after this.
I think a lot of people going into the thing because he's from the West Coast and he's visited Oregon 3 times. But I think what they're missing is the personal connection that he has with FSU. And I think people think he's traveling all over country to really, you're going to go to a school that's in Tallahassee from, California. And I think that's kind of the big deal is how things are changing is that his parents are going to move out of the state of the West Coast, so they're more than likely going to move to the state of Florida, and I think you'll see that number significantly change. In my opinion, I can't see the future like that, but I have a feeling that you'll see that percentage change considerably, going forward, and I think Tom, it's basically on kind of where he's from. You think West Coast kids usually want to play for either Oregon, USC, UCLA, but this is a different situation. It's a unique one, and it's one where also Derek Ray, the GM for FSU, has a really tight relationship, and I think he's really got them in the door. And then, Mike Norvell, Randy Shannon, Adam Fuller, all those guys have just, beat the door down as far as on this one, and I think they knocked it out of the park. And I think they're going to get some good news whenever he does decide to make a commitment.
He is Michael Langston, the senior recruiting analyst and one fired up employee of Warchant.com and the On3 Sports Network tonight. All FSU fans, you guys heard the pitch from these two, and they're in the recruiting game. $1, Bob, $1. It won a lot of chances to get on the stage, and the price is right. And for you, it can give you 1 year of a subscription to Warchant, calling all FSU fans. It's a limited time only, so please act now. Michael, thank you so much for your insights tonight and your passion. Austin, man, I enjoy working with you. I look forward to seeing you on the practice fields here soon, and obviously you'll be seeing a lot of all of these folks right here on Warchant.com. I want to close it out by bringing on the guys who started the event. Gene, I see you down there. Do you want to come back on for some closing thoughts? Give me a thumbs up if you want to. All right. He wants on. And Aslan, you have been the anchor tonight. So since you're still producing in the background when you didn't have to, which is just what this staff is all about. It's really, really cool. Everybody's a team player here at Warchant. Oh, yeah. You waved off. No, you're coming on. You guys steer the ship home. I'll stay on screen and hang out for the ride. But this has been a phenomenal production tonight and something that I think everybody got more and more fired up the more they heard about what we were talking about, what we're bringing to the table on Warchant.com moving forward.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps listening to all these guys and all the passion, the excitement. Listen to Michael and Austin, Corey, even Corey, was fun to watch. Ira, what he does, you want to talk about the ultimate grinder, man. He's going to be the first one out there at practice this morning on 3 hours sleep. It doesn't matter. Nothing stops Ira. And you guys, Tom, Aslan, you guys are so professional in doing this the incredible growth of Warchant TV. Here it is right there. I got to do the opposite way. These two guys right here. It's been unbelievable what everybody in the staff has done. So I'm so excited to move forward, to see all the people that have come in today. Not only the signups are incredible for that $1, to see all those people giving you guys tips, and you deserve every penny of that. Now you can go ahead and you can tip and you can sign up for $1. You can do both, but we do appreciate it so much. And I mean, what's made this possible, why this thing's grown beyond my wildest dreams, is those passionate fans that are so loyal. They love Florida State, and they appreciate what you guys do, man. You guys are the best at what you do, and it shows. So thank you so much, and look forward to a long hopefully Florida State wins some more games and we can really have fun the next couple of years. And maybe, who knows, someday, maybe even in a different conference. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing we didn't do tonight, and it's not the time for it.
I wish we could announce that. Talk about we blow this place up. But
yes, we would, and we'd be here till 6 a.m. till the sun comes up. If that was something, this would become the House of the Rising Sun on Warchant TV.
Yes.
But Aslan, I just want to say you're open, and the connections you've had to Florida State and to Warchant. It's really cool to hear that story because I think we all have that story when it comes to Warchant. The people that are on the channel right now, the folks that have already subscribed, all FSU fans, $1. Come on, let's go. You could subscribe to this channel and warchant.com for $1 combined. How cool is that? But it was really cool to hear that, Aslan. I'd never really heard your origin story put quite so succinctly. But I think we're starting a lot of people's new stories today, which is pretty fun.
I hope so, man. And I get it. You know, I was a broke college student and had to maybe stay home a weekend or two to make it work out to be able to get the subscription. And you know, we're always thankful that people just listen to the podcast, listen to the JCS show, listen to headlines. And we get it. It's $100. That's real money, but it's $1 now. It's $1. You can try it for an entire year. I mean, did you see me when I pop up this Blake Nicholson thing? You know, his recruiting profile. I scroll down, Gene. Tom, look at that. Like, it tells you how far away the campus is from where he lives, how many people they've put into the league at that specific position. It's incredible. Just the amount of recruiting information that's available there. I'm so excited, man. And Shannon Terry hopping on here earlier and, you know, just telling everybody just about how legit Gene is and what he's built. And yeah, man, this is awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to wake up and go to practice in like 5 hours, Gene. That's how excited I am, man. I'm ready to rock. So.
And wait till you see, you said about that. So Shannon showed me he lifted up the hood and showed me some of the stuff, the next couple of iterations of what they're going to do with this database. They're introducing AI into this thing. They're doing all kinds of crazy things. You want to see some of the scouting stuff. They've got so many data points that they're going to put together and pump them into this algorithm. And it's going to tell you, you know, based on this guy, when he lives here with this hand size and this cranium size and his score, SAT score, this is his percentage chance of being an All-American and an NFL first rounder. It's the football geeks are going to go nuts on this stuff. It's so much fun. So yeah, I just can't wait. Can't wait. I'm doing this. Yeah.
Tom, get us home. Get us out of here.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. I will do the long-winded goodnight because you do a much better job, Aslan, than I do of having encyclopedic knowledge of people who have contributed to the program. And there's so many. Now, that's why I'm going to do the long exit because I see you scrambling. Joel Davis, of course, was a heavy hitter tonight. Shane, congratulations on your Shane. That's really, really cool. Can't wait to see you out in New Orleans. Also, just a commenter randomly, Steve Ritter. Oh my goodness. That is my old college roommate.
Oh,
he's got the goods. Don't tell anybody any of the goods of what happened back in the day, Stephen. But
Steve,
to everybody,
call me.
No,
don't.
Yes,
I want to hear the stories. So we'll be drinking during one of the FSU games, one of our game watching parties, and I'll drop some nuggets on Tom. Let's do it.
There we go. Well, and we're going to be spending all Saturday together. D-Rob was a part of the program today, everybody. Dominic Robinson, real quick, let me promote his handle one more time.
Yeah.
Make sure that we push that at 3D Robinson. That's easy to remember. At 3D, like three-dimensional Robinson. That's where you can find him on Twitter. I loved what he had to say tonight. He wasn't afraid. Sometimes they're just wrong. That's what he said about the analysis on TV. That caught my attention. He's going to catch yours as we do our thank you, Steve. As we do our game.
Come on, Steven.
Wall to wall. But to all the folks who contributed tonight, like Z-Chan and Joel.
I got it, Tom. I got it.
See, there it is. I vamped long enough, and he's like, I'm going to spike this ball. Thank you.
Hawaii Nole, Brandon Knight, who dropped some yen in our pocket. That's awesome. That'll travel. That'll play. Quay Watts, Pitt Bucks 21, Jordan De Jesus, Z-Chan DMD, Michael Ellis, Jermaine Williams, Shane Kirkley, Joel Davis, Eric Gravitt, and it all started off with $50 from Flabby Gilmore. So some in between, some more, some less. Incredible, man. Just for us to show up and share our excitement, and I'm glad. Hopefully that just shows how excited everybody is to hang on here with Gene and Warchant.com, man. And we're gonna keep cranking it up, and you won't be disappointed at all. It's gonna be awesome.
Still nearly 300 of you watching right now on Warchant TV. We are honored that you tuned in tonight. So I'll see if I can get the whole roster. Aslan, stop me if I forgot somebody. I'll start. I always don't mention him. So Director Matthew behind the scenes helping out.
Yep. Thank you, Matthew.
Great
job.
4, Aslan Hajavandi opened this program tonight. Gene Williams, who announced some big news. That logo on the bottom right of the screen, you saw it. For Shannon Terry, the CEO and founder of On3, who joined the program. Our own Dominic Robinson, the now lead football analyst for Warchant and Warchant TV. Jeff Cameron, Irish O'Fell, the man, the myth, the managing editor, Irish O'Fell, Corey Clark, and is that right? Are we Michael Langston, Austin Cox, and me? Good night, everybody. Warchant TV. Head to warchant.com right now. Oh, it's going to ping for you, and sign up for just $1. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. An exciting night. We look forward to covering practice for you tomorrow.
Good night.